Mark 9, verse 17, all the way down to 27. We've heard 26 and 27 already. It says here, Mark 9, verse 17, "And one of the multitude answered and said, Master, I have brought unto thee my son, which has a dumb spirit." You may be seated. "And wheresoever he taketh him, he teareth him. And he foameth and gnasheth with his teeth, and pineth away. I spake to thy disciples, and they should cast him out, and they could not. He answered him and said, O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him to me. And they brought him unto him, and when he saw him, straightway the spirit tear him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed, foaming. And he asked his father, How long is it ago since this came up unto him? And he said, Of a child. And oft times it had cast him into the fire, into the waters, to destroy him. But if thou canst do anything, have compassion on us and help us. And Jesus said unto him, If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. And straightway the father of the child cried out, and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help thou my unbelief. When Jesus saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, Thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee, come out of him, and enter no more into him. And the spirit cried, and rent him sore, and came out of him, and he was as one dead, insomuch that many said, He is dead. But Jesus took him by the hand, and lifted him up, and he arose. Now, dumb here means mute. It means mute, okay? Now, I've had this thought many months, but God began to deal with me and bring it back. And I want to try, because I'm hearing a sound today. I'm hearing a language. And as I look out, probably every one of you are familiar with this language, and you can speak it very well. And so my theme today is the mute shall speak. Amen. The mute shall speak. Of course, he was also deaf. And so I could go on to say, and the deaf shall hear. Amen. I want us to get a hold of what was happening in this true story. Here was a young man. We don't know exactly how old he was, but this came on him as a lad. Do you understand the pain that this young boy was in? I don't think you do. This spirit had its way with him. It tormented him. He was in so much agony and pain, and he couldn't even express it. He wasn't even listening when his father said to Jesus, If thou canst help us do something. He couldn't hear that. He's been thrown in the fire. He's been thrown in the water. He's been kicked around. Let's look at it spiritually, can we? How many times in your life you've been thrown here and there and gnashed and pining away, and you can't even make a sound because nobody's listening? And when you hear somebody talking to you to try to help you, you can't discern what they're saying because you can't hear. You have deaf ears. Oh, this is speaking to somebody. You want to be able to hear what someone is saying. You want to be able to speak and tell them honestly how you feel, but for some reason you can't muster the words because the pain has you bound. The pain has you bound. You see, I'm going to bring up 4 different types of sound in the language of pain.
All right.
God has given us a language of pain. And this language will alert somebody that I'm in trouble.
All right.
There are people sitting here that are in trouble spiritually. You're in trouble emotionally. You're in trouble mentally. see their mouth move, but you don't understand what they're saying. Oh man, don't be macho right now.
Right.
It's not only women and children that experience pain. You see, why are we so macho when it comes to this deep pain? You see, this was a spirit inside of him that had this young man bound. This pain gets inside of you. It sleeps with you. It walks with you. It works with you. It eats with you. Then out of nowhere, without warning, it begins to torment you and take you to and fro, and you're in agony. You try to put on a smile. You try to put on a good face. But deep down inside of you, there is a pain that's got your attention. And you want to be able to tell somebody, hey, can't you see I'm in pain? Most people just go through the motion. How are you? They don't want to know how you are. That's just like saying hello. Have you ever had somebody say, how are you? And say, take a seat, I'll tell you. Well, no, I got this appointment.
Ooh, come on now.
I'll be praying for you, though. You know I'm telling you the truth. Nobody really wants to hear your troubles. And so because of that, you begin to shut down. Because of that, you begin to be mute. Because of that, you begin to be deaf. Because of that, you begin to invert in yourself. And you try to become an island. And you think, oh, I'm the only one with this pain. Honey, let me tell you something. The sanctuary are full with individuals with pain. I'm talking deep-seated pain. And pain has a language. This young man was in pain. He couldn't tell his father. He couldn't hear his father. So, how did his father know? Because he saw the evidence.
Right. Amen.
We're too busy that we cannot discern the evidence of people sitting right next to us in the house of God that has such great pain. Because they worship, because they dance, because they sing, because they smile. Honey, that doesn't mean there's not a pain in them. That doesn't mean that they're hunky-dory and everything's all right. There were times this young man was all right. So people flock to churches. Why do you think they come? To hear me? Oh, please. They could do that on the YouTube. They come because they want somebody to hear their pain. Oh, we sing the songs and worship the Lord. I understand that, and that's great. That prepares our heart. But the whole reason we're coming is because, God, I need to do something with this pain, and I can't carry it anymore. It is such a load, God. Sometimes the pain isn't even all mine. It may be for my children. It may be for my spouse. It may be for a neighbor. It may be for a parent. Hey, come on, somebody. Pain is real, and we live with it day in and day out. We get so accustomed to it being there.
All right.
That we try to carry it.
All right.
But I want to tell you right now, you keep carrying it, and one day it's going to come out in a way you don't want it to come out.
Amen.
You're going to foam.
All right.
You're going to find yourself in the fire. You're going to find yourself in the water. You're going to find yourself gnashing of teeth. You're going to find yourself acting in ways you don't really want to act. Come on now, somebody better get with me this morning. You're going to find an attitude you really don't want because you tried to carry the pain for so long, and now the pain is starting to really possess you to the point of making you act ways you don't really want to act. But somebody has got to get this pain out of me. Some of you have been carrying pain since you were a child. You've never gotten closure. You blame yourself yourself, and it was had nothing to do with you.
All right. Amen.
Life. There's joy, and there's sadness, and honey, there's pain. That's life. Come on, mothers. You ought to be experienced with this, because the first thing your child experiences when it comes out of the womb is pain.
Amen. Amen. Yes.
That's right.
And for many of us, not all, for many of us, the last thing we'll experience before we leave this world is pain. So what is the first language that pain does? Oh, we're all familiar with it. If I happen to step on, ooh, I was close. Step on. If I'd have stepped on her toe, you would have heard the language of pain. Ow! Obvious, isn't it? That kind of pain is not extreme pain. It's not extreme pain. It hurts, but it's not, ow! Right? It's not extreme, right? Whoa! It's not extreme pain. What is the next language that we do with pain? It's body language.
Yep.
We cringe.
Yep.
They're in pain.
Yep.
I watched Sister Rayner walk up here the other day. She was in pain, and she didn't say a word, but that language of pain spoke on her face. Have you ever seen it?
Yep.
You have got it mastered. Right? Or you're doing something. You got it mastered. That's the second language of pain. Again, that pain is just minimal. Now, at the time, you may think it's maximum, but it really isn't. And then there's the pain that turns into crying and sobbing. I had a lady call me the other day while I was at the academy, and I could barely understand her. She was sobbing hysterically. Hysterically, she was sobbing and she was crying. I could tell, hey, she's in pain. It doesn't take somebody spiritual. And she said, the only pastor I've ever known died 2 years ago, and my husband is dying in the hospital. I said, well, tell me the room number and I'll go pray for them.
Amen.
How can you turn down pain if you're a child of God?
Right.
They weren't asking for money. I need somebody to pray for my husband. He's dying. He's in a coma. They said if he didn't wake up soon, he'll never wake up. She was sobbing and crying. Honey, that, you know, the pain scale in the doctors, we're getting up there about 8 now. All right? We're getting up there about 8 now. And I said, okay. And I walked into that ICU room, and there was nothing but family members there in pain. In pain. They were weeping and crying. They probably were shocked that I would even come. I walked in and we began to pray, and they began to weep and to cry. I don't know what happened, but that's not relevant in this message. The relevant part is that what if I wasn't listening?
Amen. Yep.
Amen.
But that's not the pain I want to talk about today. Because those are obvious when you come up to the altar and you're weeping and you're crying. That is a level of pain.
Right.
But most of us recognize that, and we come to your aid and we pray for you.
Right.
And you're glad. You did that to get somebody's attention.
Right.
Oh, I know you won't admit that, but you did that to get some help.
Right.
Because you were hurting somebody. Put more than a Band-Aid on this. Now some of you deaf folks are not listening to me.
No.
You want to listen to me, but you're just not hearing it because you've had this language that I'm going into, number 4, for so long, and it seems like nobody really has listened to a level of pain that most people are tormented with. It's the silent language.
Yep.
Right.
that it hurts so much I can't tell you.
Amen.
I don't know how to put it in words. Am I the only one that's ever been there?
Come on. True.
Some of you are there right now.
Yeah.
And so you come and you sit on these pews. You like the way God is moving. He's touched you. You enjoy the songs. But Pastor, I need somebody to hear me.
Right.
I need somebody that can hear me and do something with it.
Right.
Well, I can't. I can hear you. Because I know. Bro, I know. You got pain. You got pain. You got pain. I know that. I know you do. But I can't take it away. I can hear it. But I can introduce you to the one.
Yes. Amen.
You see, they couldn't do it. They couldn't cast out this type of pain. They tried. They recognized it. They tried. And Jesus said, "Oh, faithless generation, how long will I bear with you?" I don't know if that was so much of a rebuke as when are we going to get to a place when a father doesn't have to bring me a son? When I am here and automatically I look at it and say, "Okay, you don't have to come up here. I already know what I'm listening to." Come on, somebody. The mute shall speak and the deaf shall hear. They didn't recognize it. The father had to bring the pain. And it wasn't even his personal pain. And then Jesus said, "Bring him to me." I know that it was a physical demon, but let's look at it on a spiritual
Right.
side of this. You got to get to Jesus.
Amen.
I'm not just talking about walking up to an altar. I'm not just talking about a prayer. I'm talking about you got to get to Jesus. And you got to believe. And if you have to say, "Help my unbelief, God, I'm struggling here because I've had it so long, and I know you're able, but God, I just don't know if I can let go of it. I've owned it so long." You see, that's the problem. Sometimes we just can't let go of the pain because we've owned it so long it becomes part of us, and we're afraid we'll lose our identity.
True.
You remember, the boy couldn't say, "Lord, I believe." The boy didn't even hear Jesus say, "Bring him to me." Sometimes you may not even hear Jesus speak, but you feel it talking inside of you. I've got to get to the mercy seat. I've got to get to the presence of God. I've got to try again. I can't handle this anymore. I don't like the way it makes me act. I don't like the way I think. I don't like the things that I do and the things that I don't do. And you feel the tug like some of you right now, but you sit down. Come on.
Right, man.
I have been in places, Walmart, restaurants,
Come on.
recently in Missouri, sitting down eating breakfast in the morning. Even though my wife wasn't with me, I was conscious of her sitting right there and trying to be a good boy in what I ate. Because I know the pain. I know the pain of not eating right. And I was eating, all of a sudden I seen this young couple with 3 kids. Something got a hold of me. Something wasn't right. Oh, they didn't argue. They didn't fight. But I could tell, I could hear it. I could hear the voice.
All right.
There was unhappiness there. But they seemed so blessed. They had beautiful children. And my goodness, they were eating breakfast. But I could hear it. I could hear it. I could hear it. And so I couldn't take my eyes off. I began to pray in my spirit. God, help. Have you ever been in a place where you had to stop and take a double look because somebody walked by you and all of a sudden, whoa, something isn't right in that person's life? Come on, apostolic. We got to do something more than stop and look. We got to do something more than just hear it. We got to respond to it like Jesus. What would it hurt? Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse When Zion travails, children are born. Sometimes when you're praying, God doesn't want an audible language. He wants that travailing that only He can hear. Why was the woman with the issue of blood? Why did, of all the people that touched Him, why was it her that the virtue went out of? Because along with that issue of blood, there was a pain.
That's right.
There was a pain of being isolated, a pain of being unclean, a pain of spending everything she had, and still she got worse. There was a pain that began to cry. Yes, you know what it was? She said within herself.
That's right.
She didn't tell anybody else if I would touch His hem. She said within herself, if I can just touch Him. In other words, what she was saying, if I can get Him to hear me, if I can get Him to hear my cry, if I can get Him to hear my pain, I will be healed. You can sit there and try not to look at me if you want to, but I know better.
Come on.
Because I deal with it. I deal with it. Some days are worse than others. Some days are unbearable. You, Pastor? Well, I'm 62. I should have a little pain in my life, don't you think? What about the woman with the issue of blood? Excuse me, not the woman with the issue of blood, but the woman with the alabaster box.
Come on.
All right.
You talking about having some pain. She came in, she never uttered a word, but her pain filled the room. Jesus called it, oh my goodness
Come
Christ,
on.
He's helping me here. You know what Jesus called it? A perfume of great price. It filled the room. The others, Pharisees and the others with Him, they said, oh, if He would have known what type of woman she is. But Jesus said, it's irrelevant. The pain, I can't get away from the fragrance. Oh, I can't get away from the fragrance. Your pain has an odor to Jesus Christ. Not only can He hear it, but He can smell it as well. It begins to feel His very presence. It gets His attention. How many times of the funerals that He was at? In that city where a woman lost her son, she was a widow. Oh, what happened to him? The pain got a hold of him. It wasn't so much the boy that was dead. It was the mother that was still alive and never said a word.
All right.
Come on! What about the man in the Gadarenes? He never said a word. There's that pain that never utters an audible word. It's not obvious. But the church is not where it needs to be.
All right.
We are so worried about our little domain. Do you know that if you help others get rid of their pain,
That's right.
you'll get rid of your pain? I believe that. I believe that. You go over and you see all of these things that Jesus was moved with compassion because of pain. What about when Lazarus died? Where have you laid him? Where have you put your pain? I'm telling you, God is helping me preach this morning. Their pain was in a tomb. They knew exactly where it was. They knew how to get there to experience it. Come on, somebody. You know exactly where your pain is, and you know how to experience it. Where have you laid him? And they began to cry and weep. And the Bible says he moaned within himself. Why? Because of the pain that he was hearing. And he knew where the pain was. And so what did he do? He went there and said to the pain, Lazarus, pain, come forth. And the pain came out bound. He said, loose the pain and let it go. My God, What do you think he was saying? All you that are heavy laden, all you that are filled with pain, come unto me and learn of me, for I am lowly and meek in heart. Take my yoke upon you, and I will give you rest. Learn of me. Oh God, oh God, the pain is speaking this morning. I hear it. Some of you are so afraid because you've tried. Why don't you try again? That's what he meant by the mute will speak. Another portion of scripture on this very text, I believe, when he cast the spirit out, the dumb spake. Four languages. The ouch, the body, the sobbing, but then the loudest of all, the eternal cry of mankind. If you've got any compassion in you at all, you can't not respond to somebody weeping and crying. You see somebody weeping and crying, something comes over you. We ought to get to the same place where we can sense somebody else has got that eternal pain. It's all around us! It's all around us! It's all around us! It's on the platform. It's in the Sunday school room. It's in the ministry. It's in the pews. Just play softly until I tell you later. Oh yeah, you got pain. You got pain. You got pain. You need to give it to Jesus. You need to keep giving it to it till it's gone. Quit looking for pain pills in the world, for something that'll take away the pain that you experience from the world. It'll never do it. You'll get addicted, and it still won't help you. You'll still have pain. Bring it to the one that can take the pain from you, and you will speak. You've got to get to the place when you are with the Lord Jesus Christ that you tell him exactly what the pain is. Don't beat around the bush.